So what story did Disney choose to bring Mickey Mouse back to the big screen after a 30-year absence? A Christmas Carol. A classic piece of English literature, but here's the twist. Even though Mickey gets top billing, this short isn't really about him. It's Scrooge McDuck, stepping into the spotlight at last, who steals the show.
Money, money, money.
Hi, I'm Dennis, and this is West of Neverland. If you love classic Disney animation and behind-the-scenes secrets, then this is the place for you. Normally, I focus on Disney animation from the eras that took place during Walt's life. But since we're on the threshold of Christmas, it's difficult to overlook this more modern-day classic. So today, we're taking a closer look at Mickey's Christmas Carol. Released in 1983, a short that marked the long-awaited return of Mickey Mouse to theaters, but also put Scrooge McDuck in the spotlight like never before. Let's get started. Before he was Ebenezer Scrooge, he was just Scrooge McDuck. And he didn't begin in animation. His very first appearance was in 1947 in a comic book story called Christmas on Bear Mountain, written and drawn by Carl Barks. Barks had been asked to create a holiday story for Donald Duck, and he loosely drew from A Christmas Carol for inspiration. The story follows Donald and his nephews who are fretting over not having any money for food or presents during Christmas. Across town, Donald's miserly uncle is introduced as someone who hates everyone and everyone hates him. For his own amusement, Scrooge invites the Ducks to spend Christmas at his mountain cabin, planning to scare them by sneaking in wearing a bear suit. Through a series of gags involving a real bear cub and its very real mother, Scrooge mistakenly believes that the cowardly Donald is a fearless bear charmer. Impressed, he rewards his nephews with a proper Christmas back at his mansion. It's the origin of Scrooge McDuck, a character clearly reminiscent of Dickens' Ebenezer, who unexpectedly warms to his nephews and develops a taste for adventure. And while Bear Mountain might have been intended as a seasonal one-off in the comics, the character stuck. Nearly 8 years later, Scrooge made his first animated appearance in a blink-and-you'll-miss-it cameo during the opening credits of The Mickey Mouse Club.
Forever let us hold our banner high, 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 high!
But his first real animated role came in 1967's Scrooge McDuck and Money.
Bonnie copper column, bonnie silver column, I'm in love with you.
Directed by Hamilton Luske and written by Bill Berg, Ted Osborne, and Al Taliaferro, who also created Donald Duck's nephews. Bill Thompson gave Scrooge his voice here, complete with a Scottish accent.
Just tidying up a bit, keeping things neat. Now, what can I do for you laddies? Pull up a column and have a seat.
It was the first time audiences heard the character, and it wouldn't be the last. Long before Mickey's Christmas Carol premiered in theaters, Disney had already told the story, just not on the screen. Instead, it lived on a vinyl record. This one, in fact. When I knew that I was going to do a video on Mickey's Christmas Carol, I just had to get this record that I had when I was a kid, thanks to STL Vintage on eBay for hooking me up. This is a storybook album that has full color illustrations and pages, and it was something that really became part of my childhood Christmas. When I got this in the mail, it was in its original factory shrink wrap, but I unwrapped it like a giddy kid on Christmas morning as soon as I got it. Released in the mid-70s as an adaptation of Dickens' Christmas Carol, this was a full-length audio drama that brought Charles Dickens' tale to life using familiar Disney characters.
Good morning, Mr. Scrooge.
This was actually released in two versions. The first one had generic characters telling the story, but the second one cast iconic Disney characters playing the various parts of Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, and the ghosts.
Here's the wreath and the Merry Christmas.
And here's your wreath back.
The one featuring the classic Disney characters is the one that I grew up with. And that's this one right here. This wasn't just a read-along storybook, it was a full musical adaptation packed with original songs, narration, and voice performances that made it feel like a mini-movie for your ears. Alan Young was a big player in the album's production. He was most famous for portraying Wilbur in the television series Mr. Ed.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed.
which was about a talking horse.
Besides, Carol started to cry. When I see tears, I just can't say no. Dad, don't!
But I was most familiar with him from his portrayal of Philby in the 1960 film The Time Machine, where he also donned a Scottish accent.
That machine can do what you say it can. Destroy it. Destroy it, George, before it destroys you.
In fact, Alan Young was raised in Scotland and had spent years trying to lose his accent for his Hollywood acting career. But it was perfect for his portrayals of both Philby and Scrooge McDuck.
Which 3 books?
I don't know. Is it important?
Oh, I suppose not. Only, which 3 books would you have taken? I'm going to tell you a story. It's about Christmas.
Not only did he play Scrooge McDuck on the album, but he also voiced Mickey.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Master Fred.
And several other characters like Merlin, the Ghost of Christmas Past.
I am Merlin, the magician. I am the ghost of Christmas past.
He even helped write the adaptation. The result was something surprisingly rich, and a holiday album that was clever, emotional, and genuinely funny. The album featured songs like This Is the Way Christmas Ought to Be,
That's the way Christmas ought to be.
Money,
The only thing I'm counting on is cash.
and What a Glorious Christmas Morning. Songs that still play in my head when I think of the story. For many fans, including me, it remains the definitive version of the story, and it helped lay the foundation for what would become Mickey's Christmas Carol just a few years later. About a decade after the storybook album was released, Disney finally brought the tale to the screen. Mickey's Christmas Carol premiered in 1983, and while it shared the same Dickensian framework, it was very much its own production. The songs were gone, some of the ghost characters were recast.
Who are you?
Why, I'm the ghost of Christmas past.
It marked the return of Mickey Mouse to the big screen for the first time since the animated short The Simple Things from 1953. Mickey's Christmas Carol was directed by Bernie Mattinson, who was a Disney veteran who had joined the studio in 1953 as an in-betweener on Lady and the Tramp. By the early 1980s, Mattinson had become a trusted story artist, and it was his pitch, based on the earlier record album, that helped push Mickey's Christmas Carol into production. He not only directed the short, but shepherded it from concept to completion.
Here's your wreath back. Now out, out, out!
Mattinson's career would go on to span an astonishing 70 years at the studio, the longest of any employee in Disney history. He worked on films like The Great Mouse Detective and Beauty and the Beast, and even appeared in the Once Upon a Studio short in 2023.
If these walls could talk.
This was a 100th anniversary short released just 4 months after his passing. The voice cast brought together multiple generations of Disney talent. Mickey was voiced by Wayne Allwine, who was also a sound effects artist that had recently taken over the role of Mickey from Jimmy McDonald, and who would remain the official voice of Mickey for over 30 years.
Good morning, Mr. Scrooge.
Donald was still performed by Clarence Nash in one of his final roles.
I never get mad.
No, you never get mad.
That's right. I'm an actor.
You're an actor, and that explains it all.
And Hal Smith voiced Goofy, a part he'd been playing since the late 1960s after the passing of Pinto Colvig.
Oh, you had class, Jacob.
Yup. No, I was wrong.
And of course, Alan Young returned as Scrooge McDuck, this time bringing the character fully to life on screen.
No, it can't. It mustn't. Help me, Jacob.
The animation credits are equally remarkable. The short featured a who's who of future Disney Renaissance legends and animation pioneers, including Glenn Keane, Brad Bird, Henry Selick, John Lasseter, Mark Henn, Tony Anselmo, who was just an animation trainee at the time, but would go on to become the voice of Donald Duck after Nash's death, after being tutored by Nash on how to perform Donald's voice.
Are you kidding? Musketeers need guys like me that are brave.
and Don Hahn, just to name a few. There were many others that worked on this short who went on to do great things at Disney and other studios. In addition to the behind-the-scenes talent, on screen there's a treasure trove of Disney character cameos that fans still love spotting. Beyond the main cast, who includes Scrooge McDuck as Ebenezer Scrooge, Mickey Mouse as Bob Cratchit, and Donald Duck as Scrooge's nephew Fred, Minnie Mouse as Emily Cratchit, Daisy Duck as Isabel, Goofy as Jacob Marley, Jiminy Cricket as the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh, I thought you'd be taller.
Listen, Scrooge.
The Giant from Mickey and the Beanstalk as the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Why would the ghost of Christmas present, that's me, want to eat a distasteful little miser like you?
And Pete as the Ghost of Christmas Future.
Why, yours, Ebenezer. The richest man in the cemetery.
We're treated to a whole village of background characters. Mr. Toad appears as Fezziwig, joined by cameos of the Big Bad Wolf and the Three Little Pigs, Cyril Proudbottom as Donald's horse, Clarabelle Cow dancing with Horace Horsecollar, Chip and Dale, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Angus McBadger, the secretary bird from Bedknobs and Broomsticks dancing with Lady Cluck, Sis Skippy from Robin Hood, the Three Little Wolves, and two of the weasels from The Wind in the Willows as the Gravediggers.
Let's rest a minute before we fill it in, eh? But he ain't going nowheres.
But sadly, no Pluto. So, did I miss any cameos there? Let me know in the comments. Mickey's Christmas Carol was released alongside the reissue of The Rescuers on December 16th, 1983. My older brother, who worked at the theater at the time, took me to see this when I was a kid, which made it a fun experience and a nice memory. Bundling the short with a theatrical re-release gave it a wide audience and a chance to introduce Mickey, Scrooge and Company to a new generation.
Look on the fire.
That's your laundry.
While Mickey's Christmas Carol was warmly received by many Disney fans, not everyone was immediately sold on it. At the time of its release, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert were among more vocal critics. In their 1983 review, both felt that Disney had played it too safe.
They don't change the story. This is simply Dickens' Christmas Carol. Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future, Bob Cratchit, and so forth, just like in the book.
And to be honest, as a kid, I kind of had a hard time warming up to it myself. As someone who had grown up with the record album version of the story, the 1983 short felt like a different world. The casting of the ghosts had changed. Merlin from The Sword and the Stone was gone, and he was replaced as the Ghost of Christmas Past by Jiminy Cricket.
Him.
The Wicked Witch from Snow White as the Ghost of Christmas Future was also replaced with Pete.
Why, yours, Ebenezer.
And many of the little jokes that I loved were missing.
And my eyes popped.
Now that you finished the number, I'd like to talk to you.
And the songs, especially This Is the Way Christmas Ought to Be, were nowhere to be found.
That's the way Christmas ought to be.
It wasn't that the short was bad or that I didn't enjoy it. It was beautifully animated and the performances were excellent. But for a kid who had spent every December replaying the Storybook album over and over, it felt like someone had rearranged my furniture without telling me. But now the animated short has become part of the Christmas tradition that people enjoy the world over, and it currently holds a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Clearly, it has earned its place in the Christmas canon. It's also featured in the queue of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway with a real-world prop of Bob Cratchit's desk and other assorted items. In many ways, this short helped reintroduce Scrooge McDuck to a wider audience.
Jacob Marley? No, that can't be.
Setting the stage for his breakout in DuckTales just a few years later.
DuckTales, woo!
And this being Alan Young's first animated performance of Scrooge McDuck, it certainly wouldn't be his last. He went on to provide the voice for Scrooge in the animated series, in movies, and various video games throughout the years.
We make a great team, don't we, lads? Give me 4.
Ah, the Scrooge!
Ugh, what a family.
Until his death in 2016. In fact, his final credited role was once again as Scrooge McDuck in the Disney Channel Mickey Mouse series episode titled No.
Can I borrow $5?
Oh, my!
5 plus interest.
You can keep it.
It's a very small speaking part in that. So in the end, Mickey's Christmas Carol isn't just a retelling of a well-worn holiday tale. It brought back Mickey to theaters.
Why, Mr. Scrooge! Merry Christmas! Won't you come in?
Prepared a new generation of animators for the Disney Renaissance, and gave Scrooge McDuck his first major animated spotlight.
Just hold on. Whoop! Not too tight now.
And for those of us who grew up with the record album, the short, even with its changes, became a new kind of tradition.
But to give you...
Toys!
Yes, toys. No.
So what about you? Did you grow up with the album, the cartoon, or both? I'd love to hear your memories of Mickey's Christmas Carol in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more behind-the-scenes stories from Disney animation history, click on this video on screen now, where we dive into how 3 classic shorts helped make Snow White possible. Go ahead and check it out, and I'll see you real soon.